Now that I got y'all's attention, this is my new to me 1985 Jaguar XJS HE. Originally it had a V12 in it. Popular swap back then when the V12 Blue was to go to a small block Chevy, because most of them had turbo 400s. This one has a 350 and turbo 400. Don't know if it's the factory turbo 400 or not, but let's get into it. We are off work. Trailer is loaded up. It is time to go get the newest, we'll call it intake of cars. I don't know that I'm keeping it, but for now, it was too fun not to pass up, and I'll show you all what I mean here in just a few minutes. All right, a little bit of a ride. This is what I went and got. I'll give y'all a few seconds for it to sink in. Yeah, I know, not my normal thing, even though I bring home weird things. This is definitely probably one of the stranger, but if you know these, you know what they're popular for. It was a V12 car originally. Those usually didn't last long, but it had a turbo 400 behind it. That being said, that is a small block Chevy, or whatever, however the kids are saying it these days. But anyway, that is a small block Chevy. And that's what drew me to this, was the V8 swap. So it does run and drive. It has a hard pedal from the brake booster leak up there, and no lights that I'm aware of. So other than that, it's in pretty good shape. So in the meantime, we're gonna have some fun with it. And the first being, I don't feel like getting my ramps out, so we back my trailer to the edge right here. And we're gonna unload it that way, and then probably do some donuts. But yeah, the interior is wrecked on this thing. It definitely needs some work. It's not unusable, but we got a bunch of parts with it. Turn signals don't work, light switch doesn't work, any of that stuff. So there's a mess of wiring in here, so I don't doubt that it's been messed with before. But anyways, get it unloaded, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay, so this is a 1985 Jaguar XJS HE. This was originally a V12 car. It now currently has a 350 small block and a turbo 400 trans under the hood. The body's in actually pretty good shape, minus there's a little bit of rust issues behind whoever painted this thing last. I don't believe that's the original color. If it is, they didn't seal it very well. Trunk is the same, the bottom lip of the trunk, and then over here as well. And then, as y'all can see, we have a GoPro loaded up. So let's have some fun and go do a couple burnouts in the grass over here. Might as well. The only bad thing about this is I didn't think about it until now, but this is a power window, and guess what? Doesn't have a switch or anything going to it. So it's a little bit steamy in here. But anyway, we're gonna do some burnouts and take y'all along for the ride. Well, that first rip was a little too much for her. Apparently it's low on gas. I had a little bit more. We'll see if we can get these donuts done and then put it up and see what the deal is later on with it. But for now, let's have a little fun. All right, so it shut off on me. The fuel is pretty old in this thing, so I didn't even think about it. We just let it rip. We got one good one out of it. That's all that matters. I'm guessing, it's hard to say with the fuel cutting out and being old. I'd be willing to bet that none of these gauges work, and that's fine. The other thing we're going to go through and see is we got headlights, tail lights, brake lights, all that stuff. I'm assuming by some of these open wires that are just, looks like the radio there should have been whatever. We got some extra parts, which is good. A lot of stuff in the back seat. But I'm assuming that none of this stuff is probably going to work, given how the swap is done, and that's fine. I would like to try to get the windows working just because it's extremely hot in here. It's an Alabama summer day pretty much already, which means it's in the 70s for sure already. It won't be long, it'll be in the 90s. So this is something where you're going to keep to a cruise. We will try to redo this interior. I'm thinking those can be redone probably pretty easily and decently. But again, most of this is, I'm gonna worry about the electrical first and try to get some of it straightened out before we make it pretty. Functional is always better, but she runs pretty good given the bad fuel. It just shut off on me that once. It did pretty good other than that. But yeah, this is the new project. All right, quick tinkering with it. We have headlights. That's high beams and the low beams work. So that's pretty sweet. Didn't think those did. I'm guessing everything else is probably just the bulbs are toast. We have headlights. Looks like we have tail lights. So it's just a matter of getting the brake lights to work, and we're gonna have to add the tag lights are probably no good on that. That's okay. I'm not really terribly worried about that. And then I will probably have to wait till dark to see if the dash lights actually work. Not that it matters, because none of this stuff is working, but it tells me that the light's on, so that's fine. Whoops, I pulled that off. Okay, that's supposed to come off, I guess. I don't know. All right. So that's a good start. We have lights. We just got to figure out why we don't have brake lights, which shouldn't be that hard. It's just a matter of how they have the system. This 350 does have an HEI already on it, and it looks like somebody's put some new hoses on the power steering line. Looks like that low pressure side has a little bit of a leak down there, which isn't hard to fix. I know the power brake booster has a leak because it's basically there's something stuck in there to keep the pedals hard. Instead of it going to the floor, it'll work. It's just very stiff. You kind of got to stand on it, which I knew that. No big deal. Somebody's put a little bit of money in this thing, but nothing crazy. First thing we'll probably do is get there's some sediment in this, and we'll probably get some more fuel tank. That fuel line's also kind of crappy. So safety first, you know, before you do donuts and stuff, you should probably inspect some of this stuff. But, you know, just seemed like fun at the time. So anyways, that's pretty much all there is to this. We shall see what I'm going to do with it. I'm not real sure how bad this rust is. I got grass stuck in here. That's how bad it sticks out. I know there's some holes through right there. I just knocked a ton of grass out from that. No big deal. I'm half tempted, and I think there's some Bondo in that side right there, but I'm half tempted to just flat black this thing and make it just a fun toy to take to car shows and then pop the hood. It used to be a pretty popular swap from what I'm being told. There's grass everywhere now. Used to be a pretty popular swap from what I'm being told when that V12 bit the bullet, was to put a 350 in because that mates to the TH400. But yeah, this is it. Like I said, overall, not bad. I wish the wiring was in a little bit better shape. The more I look, the more I see a few open circuits and stuff that I would not want. So we'll probably tinker and get those cleaned up and just make this thing a little bit safer and run a little bit better. And then as soon as we do that, we will see. It might sell before then. I do have this car for sale. If anybody is interested before I do crazy things to it. Like I said, a few open circuits, might use that to tap into, I guess. There's one right there too. Random wire going into here. Don't know what that is. Not a huge fan, but all in all, she's pretty cool. Would be fun to take to a cruise in. Just have not much money in. It's got a lot of the parts with it too, so we shall see what happens. Day 2 owning this Jaguar, decided to pull it in. Why not? I had the space available. First thing I ripped off was this, whatever this front tag thing was. We'll get this bumper cleaned up and then try to figure out if the signal lenses over here work. These fog lights are aftermarket. We're gonna rip them off because I don't think they add to the stealthiness of this front end at all. So those are gonna get ripped off, and we'll probably put those in the trunk in case, you know, whoever the next owner is may want them. We're gonna see if we can't get the rest of the lights working on top of the, you know, tails and headlights to see where we're on. This brake light is the main thing, and then go from there. I guess you can see a little bit better now. The tag over here is gone, and the lower fog lights that were haphazardly screwed in are gone. I think that makes this front end a little bit sleeker. We're gonna try to get these lights working next. Excuse the noise, it's really windy, and there's a stick grinding on my roof apparently. That's another thing we'll have to get sorted, but yeah, for now, I know yesterday we got the headlights working and the taillights working. I don't think we had the lower bulbs working or any of the other bulbs working, so we're gonna try to work on that and brake lights possibly next. I went to throw the fog lights in the trunk, and upon closer inspection, I see some questionable wiring. That's a ground, which isn't a huge deal. I mean, it works. This is the positive for, I believe, the fuel pump as an open circuit, as well as that's questionable down there. But that tees into 2 other things, and we are gonna get that sorted because I do not want to burn this thing to the ground. That's gonna get fixed immediately because that's a deal with the power going to the pump. So I'd rather not burn this thing to the ground. Like I said, there's some other questionable wiring in here, but for now it all runs. So we're gonna clean up what works and then try to figure out what doesn't and try to help it along. But that's the immediate, yeah, that's fuel pump power. So that's gonna have to get fixed pretty bad. So anyways, we'll get that sorted and go from there. No more open circuits over there, at least for now. That got us back where we're not gonna burn this thing down. The rest of the stuff in here is either not going to anything or not hooked up anymore, so we're fine there. Probably gonna throw all this stuff back in the trunk. There was extra carpets. The stuff that's not gonna be used, I'll probably get rid of so it doesn't make any more mess. We're gonna see if we can get these headlights and tail lights and brake lights sorted, see what the deal is there. So since buying the, apologies, I'm in a hotel. I'm nowhere near cars or anything. Well, I will be later, but that's a whole nother video. So since doing some of the wiring work and some of the stuff on the Jaguar, which is what I'm calling it, I have gotten back to work on the wagon in another deal, which some of you know about already anyway. I've got to work on the wagon, and I just decided that I really don't want to put too much more effort into the Jaguar. I was planning on not keeping it, but maybe taking it to a show or two. I've had a couple people interested in it, so I'm probably just going to stop there and list it for sale, which I already have, and see if we can just get it gone. I'd rather put some work into some other stuff. It's cool, but it's just not really my thing. The 350 drew me into it, but the Jaguar stuff is not really big on my priority list. So I want to get the wagon done and want to buy other things and get those out. So that is on my priority list. So this probably will be the last video on the Jaguar. If it doesn't sell, I'll continue working on it and y'all see more of it, but hopefully it sells pretty soon, and we will catch y'all in the next video.